Hello, everyone, and welcome to Whispering Wind Psychic Cowgirl. My name is Reverend Melissa Kennedy, and I wanted to make this video today to talk about a number of things. First of all, the energy in 2023 so far. Today is January 5th, 2023, and it's a Thursday. And I have to say the energy today has been a little bit wonky. I've had many people message me asking for healing, for clearing, and I've had to work with my black dragon today. Yes, I have. And so I have some clearing and some healing energy from my black dragon. And his name is Humphrey. That is my actual dragon's name, my guide. And he came to me in a meditation, and I bought this stone because I need something to absorb some negative energy. So I'm projecting some healing and clearing, and you can envision this stone and imagine it absorbing any dark energies around you. It's really pretty. Anyway, so I wanted to share that. So the energy's been a little bit strange. People haven't been feeling well. Time hasn't been making any sense. Let me explain what I mean. So yesterday I was at my mom's and we were having lunch, and all of a sudden she got a notification on her phone, and she looks at me and she said, somebody had died, Don Williams it was. And I went, what? Don Williams, he died a few years ago. I couldn't remember which year it was. And she's like, no, look, it said he just passed away. He was 100 years old. I'm like, what? So I looked at it. Sure enough, there was the little news article, and I'm like, no. So I looked it up, and Don Williams actually died in 2017. So we had like a real life, obviously real life, but in the moment Mandela effect happened to us. So if you're not familiar with the Mandela effect, it's kind of people experiencing a different timeline, yet we're all in the same reality that we're living in on the planet. And the Mandela effect was about I forget his first name, Nelson, that's what it was, Nelson Mandela. And I remember reading and hearing on TV, it was like the late 80s, early 90s, I forget the exact year, that Nelson Mandela had passed away. And so fast forward to probably about 8 or 10 years ago, Nelson Mandela was suddenly alive again. And I remember thinking, what? And then Nelson Mandela passed away. And many other scenarios like that, where people are experiencing a little different reality in the timeline that we're on. So the Mandela effect is taking place. And also I've had strange time anomalies happening already in 2023. So I actually made a video yesterday, and I had to re-record it because when I listened to the first 40 seconds of the video, I had said June 4th, 2023. And when I played it back, I heard that I said June, but I had no idea that I had said June. And so I had a friend send me a video today about a man that was making predictions about 2023 and things that were just supposed to happen before 2022 ended, but they didn't. And then he said, then June 2023, they would happen. And I believe he meant to say January. So I was like, not just me. There it is right there. So that's been going on, and it could be a lot of this full moon energy coming in, the full moon in Cancer tomorrow night, Friday night. But that's been some of the weird energy. And then I want to get back to predictions because a lot of my friends are psychic. A lot of people make predictions. I actually made a prediction for this year, and it's not about anything that's going to happen on our timeline. It's more about what we're going to be focusing on this year as a collective, and it's all about the heart. So you can go back in my videos and listen to my 2023 predictions video, and you'll hear me explain that 2023 is a year of the heart. And what I mean by that is we are going to be focusing on all things of the heart, clearing of the heart space, healing of the heart, processing our feelings and our emotions through our hearts, and bringing our love, our true essence of our hearts out into the world, thinking before we react. really connecting with our shadow work. Once again, when you think you're done with shadow work, well, no. Here it comes, more shadow work. So we'll be facing more shadow in 2023, but in a good way. So we will be really doing the inner work. We'll be doing the introspection. We'll be clearing the inner house in a loving way. And when we do that for ourselves in a loving way, it'll make it easier for us to love other people. And I wanted to get back to the prediction. So that was mine, but people predict things, and sometimes their predictions don't come to fruition. And I was pondering this, and I was like, is anybody else noticing this? And I know people are, but I haven't talked to any of my friends about this yet. I just wanted to get on here and make this video. But I had a thought. So if people make predictions and they feel confident enough to know that the messages that they're receiving from their guides, from their angels, from the universe are real, and they're confident in that, and they choose to share their predictions with the world, that's very brave. And I commend them for that, because there's always that backlash. Like, people will think, oh, they predicted this, it was wrong. That's really not what it's about. But let me just finish the thought process here. So as a collective, we gravitate to these people that resonate with us, and we listen to what they receive from spirit, from the universe, from God, from divine, whatever word you want to use, and then they share that with us. And so we have the ability to listen to this and then ruminate on it, process it, and then we decide if that resonates with us. So a lot of times I feel like why their predictions do not become reality is because if you're like me, you'll think about it and you'll say, that's not going to be my reality. I don't want to live in a post-apocalyptic world. I don't want World War III. I don't want higher taxes. I don't want hungry people in the world anymore. I don't want any more homeless people. So all of these negative things you will cancel out, and you will decide that that is not going to be your future. That is not your timeline. That's not your reality. So I feel that the bravery of the people that make these predictions is a great thing. We shouldn't look down upon them. We shouldn't judge them because what they're telling us does not come into fruition, because we are all free will beings. We have the ability to change things before they happen. We can make them better. That's how we manifest. That's how we create our future. And so I just want you to think about that for a moment. And when you stop listening to this video, my words, whatever resonated with you will stick. And I hope that whatever doesn't, you just park it and leave it and don't think about it anymore, because that's how it all works. We're being called to really drop into our hearts, process what we receive from source, from creator, from God, the universe, and run it through our own spiritual center, our minds, our bodies, our hearts. And then we ask, does this feel like it's on the vibration of truth? Is this the truth that I want to see from my future? And when we all start doing that, the world will shift. We will learn to love ourselves first, and then we will love others because we're already loving ourselves. So it will be easier to love other people because we've done the hard work. We've done the introspection. We've done the shadow work. Are we ever done, like I said earlier, with shadow work? No, we will never be done with shadow work. We will never be done with our healing as long as we are alive on this planet in these physical bodies. We will experience trauma. And not only will we experience the trauma from our own lives, from the experiences that we chose to come in on and experience, but we will experience the trauma of the collective as well. With technology and the world being the way it is, we cannot just unplug. It's pretty difficult. I mean, you can, but I mean, we may as well live in the world and experience it and enjoy the freedoms we have as a collective to connect. It's very, very powerful. And a couple of years ago, I'm a trance medium as well. So I was in the state of trance, and a trance guide came in for me. And it was actually Alexander Graham Bell. And it just made me think of this as I just said what I said, because I was like, when I asked who it was and he said Alexander Graham Bell, I was like, wow, that is so cool. The inventor of the telephone talking to me from spirit. And his message was to me that, I'm just going to briefly encapsulate what the bulk of the message was. His message was that the technology and the way we communicate in this day and age was sci-fi in his time. So the phone connected people, okay? But what we have now, like with FaceTime, was sci-fi in his time, but they dreamed it. They thought it, they wanted it. I remember my grandfather saying, wouldn't it be great if I could call you up right now and actually see your face? And my grandfather passed away in 1986, so he never actually did see this, but he would have loved this technology. So what Alexander Graham Bell told me was that, like we see in Star Trek, that we will have that technology where we will just get beamed up and be wherever we want to be in this world. And who knows, in the universe, we could travel through time and space. You know, we don't know. It's unfathomable to us right now, and it's sci-fi. But what Alexander Graham Bell told me was, we will have that beam me up technology. So in other words, it won't just be the FaceTime, which is super cool, right? That we can connect with people across the world and do FaceTime and see them. Even though we're not together, we're connecting in an intimate way by actually having face-to-face conversations. But in the future, Alexander Graham Bell assured me that yes, it seems like sci-fi to us now, but it might not be as far off as we think. There's been a lot of information withheld from the collective, from us as human beings on this planet. And I feel like a lot of the people in the spiritual communities are talking about disclosure, ETs, all of that. My light just went out. It's funny, my battery ran out. But anyway, so that's just a little bit of what I wanted to share today, and about how our technology might just go like that, and we might have these things, and we might have that beam me up technology. So I just say there's so many more exciting things to come for humanity as a collective. Are we ever going back to a post-COVID, like a pre-COVID world? No, we're not. And I'm so happy that we're not. I hope that COVID has changed us in a way, and it will continue to change us as a collective in a very positive way, in that we will rise from this collective experience loving each other more. And so on that, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm sending you love, light, blessings, and I'm wishing you peace for 2023. And I want you to pay close attention to your heart, how you feel, and I want you to drop into your heart and allow healing to happen. Bye-bye now. Rev Melissa Kennedy signing off.